everyone, it's Nick from Nick's Crossing. Welcome back to the train room for another review today. So here we go, everyone. All aboard. Alright guys, so for today's review we're going to be talking about the Caboose. And I think a lot of us railroaders like a nice Caboose. No pun intended. I have about 30 of them, or 30 plus of them. And for the July 4th show of 2021, I actually did a Caboose parade to celebrate. So much fun. We ran all of them on the layout. And some of the ones that can't couple, like those old pre-war ones or the interesting post-war NPC ones without the end coupler there, we left them in sidings to be shown. So if you want to check that out, check out the live playlist, Coming At You Live playlist. It should be in there. So today we're actually going to be talking about 3 Caboose of the collection that really stand out because they're not only extended vision line Cabooses or Caboose from Lionel, they are smoking Cabooses. They're some of my favorite accessory cars to run behind the trains because I think us railroaders also like a good smoke show, and it's just a lot of fun to have something going around the track, kind of on fire, kind of terrifying and mystifying at the same time. Alright guys, so before I start the review, I'd like to go over what a Caboose was actually used for. For all you new guys in the hobby or interested in railroading, but a Caboose was actually a very important car in the early stages of railroading. It housed the crews, it could do crew changes, held staff, conductors, created an office space, a resting space, a communications hub. They could answer a radio, telegraph, all that cool stuff all in the Caboose. Some of them even had kitchens and bathrooms. Most I've been in had bathrooms, but there's some smaller ones I've been in did not have a bathroom, not even a hole in the floor. But a very important use of the Caboose was to spot on the trains going up to the cupola, which is up here. And if you've ever ridden in a Caboose, this is like the coolest spot to ride in a Caboose in because you see everything, you can see over the train. It is just so much fun. But they would be up in the cupola to spot on the hot boxes, which are your wheel bearings right here. And those back in the day would actually heat up and it could actually cause a fire. They'd actually pack hot boxes with this material that was very susceptible to fire because of the lubricant in that mixed and the heat produced by the hotbox bearing. But back in the day, a lot of cars were made of wood, so a hotbox fire would be very problematic. It would damage goods, could hurt people, damage your cars, damage local areas, especially if a train caught on fire with susceptible chemicals or volatile chemicals. It's a terrifying experience. So these were meant to prevent that. They could stop the train, say, hey, we see fire, smoke, all stop. Now, Lionel does make a hotbox car that lights up and smokes, which I'd love to get a hold of one day. And they also have the defect detector system, which modern railroads use today. You actually hear that on a lot of railfan scanners that say defects or no defects, and it counts the axles, all that fun stuff. So those are just a couple uses of the almighty Caboose. And nowadays they put the bathroom in the head end, which I think is kind of funny, head end. So there you go. Alright guys, so let's get into this review. So the first car, you guys saw a glimpse of her earlier, is a Union Pacific Extended Vision Line Caboose with smoke, and that is this right here. And I love this car's graphics. This is actually the first smoking Caboose that I've ever owned. It's just such a classic color scheme there. And I love this safety banner. It's on both sides. It says end of train, but safety rolls on. Safety is in a sphere right here. And it's a UP number 9706. CA-10, and I like this at the bottom. It says remove axle driven belts before jacking car. Right there. It's kind of hard to read because the glare. There it is. And it also has a barcode at the end here, and right there is a barcode that would be scanned when the car would be classified in a consist. Now they don't use the barcodes anymore. They now use RF badges, which you can see on modern cars kind of glued or epoxied at the end of a car, which is kind of the same concept, except these barcodes would get damaged, they would fall off, and they'd be like, well, what do we do now? So the RF badges are much more efficient and less easily taken as well. These cars also have, all 3 of them have it, there's a gem that goes through the shell, and this is illuminated while the car is lighted. So really cool. You have a battery box here on this side, and then on the other side, you have a little air cylinder, some detail in there. Then these are your wires hanging down for the smoke unit for your pickups. All right, so the second one, this is a Western Maryland cupola Caboose. And I love the striping on there. It's very similar to the UP design, off-center cupola and everything. Built in 1989. The other one was built in, let's see, 1989 as well. So very similar, probably same catalog year. And these lanterns also shine through. We don't have a barcode, but we do have some cool details like the air cylinder underneath. And flip her around, we have the battery box right there in the light. Last but not least, this one is actually the newest one of the collection, and I got it for $10 at an antique shop. And it had the box was destroyed, and I think that's why it was such a great price. But it is pristine, works great, and that is this Pennsylvania Central Region off-center cupola caboose. With the lanterns there, battery box here, and flip it around, air cylinder on the other side. Now, all of these, I forgot to mention, do have ladders on each side, little brake wheel details there, and all metal trucks, operating couplers. They are lighted with an incandescent bulb, which I'd like to change out in the future, but all of them seem to run fairly well. And the Pennsylvania was also built in 1989, so these were probably all out of the same catalog. I've seen a couple of different variations, such as a Lehigh Valley, I believe a CNJ, and there's a couple others, but they're getting harder and harder to find because collectors tend to hold on to these. But anyways, guys, let's get these three cars on the track, crank up the power, and see some smoke fly. Alright guys, so I actually have this track in command mode, so we're getting 18 plus volts to our track. And it looks like some of these need smoke floats. All you do is take a little bit of JTs right here, put it down there, and it should start to smoke. Sometimes I like to give it a draft, get any bubbles out, and we should get smoke. Sometimes you have to blow on it too, and there we go. Get some air bubbles out. And now the Pennsylvania's going crazy, so check that out. And they do make all kinds of weird noises because they are these soot smokers. You can see like this huge cloud these guys are making. Alright everyone, that's going to conclude this review of my 3 Extended Vision Line smoking Caboose from 1989. These Caboose are so much fun to run around, especially in command mode or TMCC mode on my layout, because you're giving the car the full voltage and you're seeing all that smoke go everywhere, and it's even crazier running it with a nice steam engine or smoking diesel. It just really smokes out the whole room, and you can choose whatever scent. Like tonight we're running cotton candy, but JT's Mega Steam makes all kinds of flavors that you can choose from. It's kind of like a sensitizer up here. You know, you can make things smell whatever you want to smell, and yeah, it's just so much fun. I do recommend, if you purchase one of these, not to run it on full voltage all the time. You might burn out that little soot smoker, and they're not cheap. Actually, the smoker replacement part costs almost more than the caboose itself, which is just crazy. If you guys are ever looking for a smoking caboose, I definitely recommend checking out eBay. Now, eBay is kind of interesting because you can name your price. So I've seen these go for around $40 for the old school ones, upwards to $150 for the brand new Vision Line ones. Now, if you do find a K-line smoking caboose, those do draw a lot of money because of the collectability factor, and just, I think they're a little bit more detailed and also made of die cast compared to these are ABS plastic. I do remember seeing some K-line caboose that said Extended Vision Line. I believe that is when Lionel hopped aboard and pretty much took over K-Line, sadly. But there are K-Line smoking caboose out there. There's also post-war smoking caboose out there that are extremely collectible. I believe those took smoke pellets, so it should be pretty cool. But these guys are NPC classics right here. Full scale, they look great, they sound great, they smell great, all that cool stuff. But anyways, if you guys are new to the channel, always consider subscribing. Make sure to hit that bell for all notifications so you don't miss videos and content just like this. Hopefully you guys had a great time. Giving the video one of these really helps. Love reading your guys' comments. Maybe you'd like to pick one of these up, or you had one or have one. So I'd love to hear about it. Until next time everyone, happy railroading. See you next time. This is me forgetting to do an outro.